Hello, class. This assignment asks you to call out and label both things that you've added to your assignment as well as things that might exist that you think are good as part of the streetscape. And so I'm going to show you everything I mean with that, starting with the simplest idea, which is just adding some text. So let's say that we added street trees. Now, if I added 4 in this image, for example, but um, I only need to label it once, call them new trees, for example. And I should say, if their things aren't set in the streetscape, you don't need to add them. So if, like, we added this person, but you don't need to label it. If you label people, you don't need to label people, you don't need to label cars, things like that, because those they're moving through the image, right? But things that are sort of set that are important to the streetscape, you can add to. And so what we're going to do is you can add text a couple different ways in Pixlr. The first one I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit the plus button and I can hit the text and we can see this box comes up and I'll just type in the word tree. It's hard to see where it's at, but if I move it, up here, we can see that I get the word tree, and that's all that's required. I can shrink down the box for tree, doesn't need to be too large. And if I double click in it, I can edit it just like this. So there we go. There should be a way of doing font as well. I'm just looking, why can't I change the font or the size? Oh, I got to go down to text. Okay, so that's what I have to do. Of course, I have to hit the text tool to change anything. Once I do that, you can see I can change the font. I'm going to leave it at Arial. Very basic. Good, I like it. I can change the color if need be. I can change the size as well. Big, small, so on and so forth. So left setting, lightly, all these things don't really matter. I mean, for this the simplest is perfectly fine. I can add a background to it, which could be nice. Gray is probably not what I want to make it, so maybe I'll make it white. Yeah, so there we go. I can add shadows. All these things I have done to certain degrees on the text. The whites is going to allow me, if I'm over top of something, to sort of really make it like a label. And I think for this assignment will be good. So this doesn't show up much on this on the tree sky there, but that's quite all right. So you're going to add this. And that's how you have your tree. But now we have to know, hey, you're pointing at a tree, right? So I want to show you how to draw a line to make that happen. And to do that, I'm going to use the paintbrush tool. So I'm going to go with paintbrush. I'm going to make, since I made my text black, which makes sense, I'm going to make this black as well. If your foreground color is not set to black, set it to black. I'm going to go to paintbrush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set, yours is probably set to default. I'm going to set the size. I might have to test it a couple times. I'm going to try 15. I'm just going to quickly draw a line. That still seems a little thick, so I'm going to do Control Z to undo. And I'm just running the test. Let me try 10 points. And yours might be different again based on your image. That's probably a little thick, but okay. I'm going to go with 10 and undo it. So what I want you to do is draw straight lines. So you're going to click with your mouse and let go. You're going to hold straight over just a little bit and click. And you're going to see it's going to make a straight line. And then you're going to hold over like the tree and click again, and you can see it's made like a little straight line and then an angle down, which is typically how we might label things in something like a drawing like this. What layer where did I put that layer? Oh, I put it on the background. I probably shouldn't have done that, so let me undo that. Totally my fault. I wasn't paying attention to layers, because what I need to do is I really need to make a new layer for my labels. And I can probably put them all on one layer if I need to, but I should do a new layer. That's totally my fault there. So let's do an empty layer. Let's try that again. Paintbrush, everything should be set up. So we'll go tree and draw a line like this. So we can draw the tree. Now, some of these objects can be very difficult to see. Like a tree, it's fairly obvious. I added that, it's, there. But some of these lampposts, they can be sort of difficult to see. And that's why I had this thing about callouts. And so what you might do, this is just one idea and just to show you a tool. I'm going to make a new layer for that as well and go empty. So I'm going to call this my my label lines, because any label line can be on this layer. I'll add a few more here before the end of the video. I'm going to call this my callouts. I'm just going to put them on different layers, just for clarification purposes, callouts. And I think not that they could be black, but just for fun, I'm going to set them to, I'm setting them to like a deepish red color just to do something different. You can always change colors later on. Okay, so to make the callouts, I think I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to start with my rectangle marquee and like draw a box around the object. Pretty tight in, but not right up on it, just like this. This is going to seem a bit silly. I think this is the way to make it work in Pixlr. I'm going to go to Paint Bucket. I'm going to paint it all in red. Cover it up, all right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Edit, Stroke. And what you want to do is you want to do outline only. See when I click that on, it turns it to just the red box because I got the color set as red. It's the same, and I can make it bigger if you feel like it needs to be bigger, or even semi-transparent if you need to, and just say apply. All right, and so that way you can say, oh, here we go, and you can do the same thing for all the lamps. So I can come through here. On Photoshop, you could do it all as one layer, but Pixlr is going to require multiple layers, and that's okay. I can just say empty layer. Paint bucket it in, do the same thing, edit, stroke, outline only, apply. So I can call those out, and then a text is automatically going to make a new layer every time you do a text. So I can also make a new text by coming up over here, and I can click somewhere in the field here and say, do you want to add the layer? It's going to say yes, and I'm going to type in pedestrian lamp or street light or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to select it all, make it black to match. Say OK. Should go to my styles. I had the background on. I set it to white. Whatever style you decide to use, just be consistent. It's consistent with size and font and all that stuff. I can put that wherever I want. Maybe I'll put that down here. And I'll go to my label lines. So to do my label lines, make sure I'm set to black, make sure my paintbrush is set, and layer set to label lines. Click, hold shift, and click again to hold straight line. And in this case, I can just go to the red box. I don't have to go to the object itself. Like that, so I might call that out. I should add probably crosswalk label. Those are the three main elements I asked for here. So let's add text, add a new layer, crosswalk, set all the settings the same. Label that there, go to label lines, paintbrush, black, everything looks good there. Click, hold shift, click, oops, that's not too good, let me undo that. Click, hold shift, try to draw it straight out. There we go, hold shift, there we go, crosswalk. Right, so get your labels. Again, you need to add at least one more thing on your own, so that should be labeled as well. If you want to call out, you probably should call out this lamppost as well, because we see another one there. Both sides of the street are sort of important. And so you start calling your eye to the things, start labeling them. Again, if I were doing this, I might spend more time with like, what does my background look like? Is that too bright? Maybe I should have graded out a little bit. You know, things of that nature, font size, all of those things can work. I could have underlined the words. There's lots of different things you can do to make this look good. I could actually change my paintbrush size to be a little bit bigger and just click right on the end, and adds a little dot to even call it out further. That's sort of a nice little technique too. So you might go around and see what makes good labels. Don't be afraid to experiment, just like anything else. And I'll come back for one last video on finalizing this image.